Just change the screen so you can see my feet. There we are, heels touching. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, just touching the back of the front teeth. Draw your whole focus to the sensations in your feet. Change the angles of your thighs and knees to engage the outside edge of the foot, the ball and the heel, and then soften the foot to receive the weight of the body. Bring the sternum up. Definitely lift it at least an inch. If you can keep the shoulders very relaxed and almost floating, as you lift up the sternum, you'll find the shoulders roll. So when I lift up the sternum and the shoulders are soft, you'll find they move by themselves. This isn't the whole thing moving as a block. The shoulders will roll this way because there's nothing really supporting the weight of the shoulders, just muscle and tissue, with the only attachment point is here. So the shoulders are very free to move if we can allow them. And when we lift up the back and the crown of the head, we find the shoulders and chest can open. So we're looking for an open feel across the chest, an open feel across the back, a softening in the muscles around the lower back, so the curve in the spine can soften by sinking. We're looking for the knees pointing out in the direction of the feet and receiving the weight of the body. And we're then looking to release any unnecessary holding. This is the fun bit because we have to go really deep inside and use the pressure of stability where the feet meet the ground to let every part of our body drop onto that. To really let gravity have the weight of our body, yet work against collapsing. What happens is the body presses into itself and the muscles start to load to support us. And a loaded muscle is a bit like a sandbag, very dense and full and supportive. You could stand on the sandbag and it would carry your weight, and yet open it up and it's very loose. Grains of sand. And our muscles can change from being very loose and fluid to being very dense and stabilizing. We're looking for stabilizing muscles to be pressed into themselves rather than lifting and contracting. So the muscles that help stabilize them, the bones, are like a stack of paper cups pushed into themselves, rather than something that's lifting and pushing us off the ground. We just rest in this posture and listen for where we can find a place of release. And I'm scanning round the sensations inside my body while I maintain my alignment. When I get a good sense of becoming fairly loose and fluid, I'll go into the parallel stance. Fold. Weight in the same part of the feet to push up from. Feel the stretch of the body and release it. And follow that all the way down with the knees changing, the lower back changing, the chest opening and softening and settling. Fold. Really take your time to experience the movement. to feel how you move your body. And to bring your movement in line with the Taiji principles. So the principles folding only the hips and the knees at the same rate and at the same time. The feet, same part of the feet on the ground. Coming up, keep the weight in the middle of the feet the whole time. Feel the stretch of the body and release it without stopping. Everything changing, knees, lower back, chest, shoulders settling, everything finishing together. And finally, scan around, last little bit of settling. So really try and go slowly and steadily. Making sure you're becoming aware of your movement, you're feeling how you move, and you're making adjustments. You're including all the principles. So for example, if you fold too fast in the hips, or you bend too much in the knees without the hips folding, try and make them equal amount of folding. If when you move, you bring your weight to the ball of the foot, do it again and check it. So you're analyzing how you're moving. If as you fold, you feel your tendons in this tendon flick on, which is really common, this tendon here can flick on and become tight to support the body, If you feel that, try and move in a way that you can change that. If you feel your weight come to the heels, look at where your center of gravity is. Same with your, same with the balls of the feet. You want to keep the center of gravity above the center of the foot, not bring it backwards, not bring it forwards in this movement. So we know exactly, by the feeling in the feet, we know exactly where our center of gravity is. I don't need to look in the mirror. I don't need to measure, but I can feel where my center of gravity is, and I can maintain that center of gravity by the sensations in the feet. Same coming up. Maintain the center of gravity in the center of the feet all the way up. Feel the stretch and release. Everything softens and changes. And what you want to try and achieve, if you can, is that by the time you arrive in the posture, there's nothing left to release. Now, when I teach it, first of all, we arrive into a posture. Then we look for a subtle letting go of what we don't need. For the intermediate group, what I work with is from here, we go straight into, not only straight into the posture, but fully into a fully released posture. So the movement combines with the letting go inside the body to produce one quality of sinking. So for the beginners, or for those who are getting used to finding an upright, relaxed posture, we move externally into that posture. And then we go inside and see what's going on in the body, what muscle groups are being used, if there are any being held. Then once we're in the posture, we finally have that last settling. Okay, so for the intermediate, if you feel your posture is getting there and your upright posture is getting there, it's not collapsed, try and find the finish of the movement combining with the finish of the internal release. So you arrive at the moment you arrive in the standing posture, there's nothing left to release. And that will move your practice on considerably. So I'll give you that as an option. If when you come into a standing posture, you're still noticing a lot of tension in your body, then it's better to find your standing posture and then work on the inside. There's two distinct, separate things. And if you've been doing Tai Chi a while, probably 6 months or more, maybe even a year, or maybe even one round through the form, and your upright posture is quite clear. Seated in the hips, open in the lower back, pressure in the center of the foot, upright spine, and as if the body's hanging off, your arms are hanging off like a draped scarf. Then you can work with everything releasing together. So if we go into this exercise, you'll see it works exactly the same. Coming up and releasing. Coming up and releasing. Especially working with the downward movement, so the external movement matches the internal letting go. And the result of that is you will feel more pressure in your feet, because that final little bit of letting go lets our body weight go through and into the legs, into the ground, starts to load the thighs with our body weight, presses ourselves onto the ground, and you feel fully connected to the ground rather than floating in your feet. So it's possible just to bend your knees and up and down. If you just bend your knees up and down and have no internal releasing, you don't load the muscles of the thighs. You just move, just moving up, moving down. And we develop that by the internal quality of letting go of the thighs, letting go of the band muscles around the lower back to invite the weight of the body into the legs. So the weight of the torso pushes us onto the ground. And the thighs, especially the thighs and the lower back, have to receive the weight of the body. And you'll know if you're doing it because your feet will feel more pressure. Your feet will feel more pushed onto the ground and more stable. And the more stable you feel, the more you can let go. Okay, so this is a really good indication, if your practice is working well, that you feel an increase in weight or fullness in your feet when you release. It's in every posture of the form, even the one-legged postures. White crane spreads wings. Let's try white crane spreads wings with the right leg on the ground, the left ball of the foot just touching. If I swing this foot through, it misses the heel. The hips and the shoulders straight ahead. The left hand seated by the left thigh. The right hand up one span from the brow, and in your peripheral vision you can just see the hand. It's not so far back that you can't see it, just there. It's forward of the face. Sinking to increase the load, not just going down, not just bending the knee. If we bend the knee, we still carry the weight of the body. What we want is the weight of the body to flush through the leg. And as a result, the thigh muscles start to load and become more dense, like a bag of sand, sandbag, to support the weight of the upper body. So in the posture, we'll just hold it for 30 seconds. We first find the foot, we lift the chest, we drop the chin, we find our balance. That's the first thing, to find our balance. There's a tiny contact on the ground with the ball of the left foot. It's not completely dead. There's a contact on the ground. Imagine there's a £10 note under the ball of your foot. Someone goes to pull it away and it can't. Yeah, it can't pull it away because your foot's on it. There's a small contact on the ground. First, when I put my arm in place, I want to make sure that my shoulder is sunk, connected downwards. The elbow low, as if there's a weight hanging off the elbow, but that comes about because I soften the muscles of the back to allow the shoulder to drop. Doesn't come from dropping the elbow because this has no bearing on the shoulder. It comes from dropping the whole weight of the shoulder downwards. And try to sink in such a way that the weight of the torso is channeled. The forces are channeled into the conical thigh, to the knee, the foot becomes stable, and I can drop the weight of the body into the posture, through the posture into the ground. Now, really important to keep the weight in the center of the foot. You can't have the inside edge collapsing. You can't have the weight in the ball of the foot either. You have to put the weight in those three parts of the foot, the ball, the heel, and the outside edge. And then stack the weight of the body over the center of gravity, over the center of the foot. And just play with the release, the lifting of the crown of the head, and the letting go of the muscles over the skeleton. So in the form, we go from shoulder stroke. In the form, it faces 10:30. I'm going to do it facing this corner. The finish of shoulder stroke is a turn. Then I move on to the front foot. Shoulder stroke is to the corner. The finish of shoulder stroke is a turn. Then I move forward onto the front foot with a further turn. So I turn a little bit. Then I move on to the front foot with a further turn. Now I'm over the right leg and I turn back. And sink. Posture. Practice this move, please. Shoulder stroke. The hands are on the center line of the body. The left hand palm down at 45 degrees. One fist from the body. No break in the wrist, as if it's resting on a flat surface. Sunk. The right hand, one fist from the groin, protecting the groin. So I'm forming a soft cage with my arms around my body that protects my vulnerable areas. Not like this, not like that. Protected. Shoulder stroke, the issuing or the power of shoulder stroke is a turning move. So in the form, I'm facing 10:30. The turning is then to 11 o'clock. The turning comes from the hips and the shoulders as a block. It doesn't come from the shoulders leading. It comes from the movement, the rotation of the hips, and the shoulders follow. When I've gone as far as I want, about 11 o'clock, I sink onto the front leg and I continue that turn and my left heel comes off the ground. Then I turn back, draw the left toes in as you come up, sink and let the left go forward. Now, one of the things you'll notice is when you're on one leg, it's really important to have the center of gravity over your foot so that when you turn back here, you don't have that weight of your body moving in your foot. Your foot is planted and then you turn. So all this turning and lifting is spiraling up, keeps your weight in the center of the foot. And then you finally sink, soften the body, and let the foot press onto the ground. Are there any questions with that move? I'm going to do it facing 10:30, which is the direction we do it in the form. Turning, sinking onto the right foot. Now I'm facing about 11:30, turning back to 9 o'clock, lifting, drawing the left ball of the foot in, sinking, pushing the left ball of the foot out, facing 9 o'clock. I'll have a look at your practice, please. Change my view to gallery. Okay. Good. Any parts of that movement you'd like to see again or ask about? Okay. Well, just take a break for a moment. When we take a move, when we isolate a move like that, it's almost like doing like when we do the loosening exercises, we're doing the same move again, 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 again. When we take a move like that and isolate it from the form, it's like doing it again and again and again. And in that repetition, you can start to ask questions about what you're doing and how you're moving. So rather than just going through the form and get a chance to do it once and it's gone, we do it again and again and again. And it's that quality of deepening the repetition. And not only just doing the repetition, but doing it with a level of inquiry. Where's my weight in this movement? Am I fully released in this movement? What's my alignment like in this movement? Is my whole body coordinated as I move? And these types of questions you start to kind of bring to bear on the movement. So the movement starts to have a lot more substance to it than just a movement. Right? Because within the movement, the principles of the Tai Chi start to become genuine. So rather than just being a movement, it's got grounding, it's got coordination, it's got synchronization, it's got mindfulness as we move. We're feeling our body as we move. And all these things start to come together. So I know from teaching for many, many years, because I ask my students, how do you practice? Most of them say, oh, I spend so many minutes and I go through the form. And I say, do you isolate your postures? And they say, occasionally when I can't remember where the arms go. Right? And I say, okay, if you want your Tai Chi to really deepen and you really want it to become like really a quick way of getting, I hate to use the word better, but it is about being better, obviously. But it's about being more whole and more connected as well, which is part of Tai Chi's betterness. You have to put the principles into the form. You can't just move. You have to look at how you move your body, look at how you engage and understand your body movements. And the Tai Chi movements give you a chance and you can break down each part of the body and look at what it's doing and start to get a sense of it. So it's like a plan, if you like, for understanding what you're doing. It's like, if you play guitar, what you're going to do, some days you're going to do scales, some days you're going to do bends, some days you're going to do chords. You need a program to get you better. You need a program to start to work with, understanding the whole complexity of it. And Tai Chi gives us that for our body and mind. So I urge you, when you come to a move you're not 100% on, something feels off, use your intuition, just get a sense for yourself, this doesn't quite feel right, and start to ask questions about it. As you learn Tai Chi, start to say, oh, he said something about his back. Oh, he said something about the curve on the lower back. I wonder how that fits into this posture. Oh, he said something about the hands mustn't move by themselves. I wonder how that fits into this posture. And so the inquiry starts to inform your practice. Okay. Let's go through the form from the beginning. And we've gone up, cross hands, and we've done embrace tiger, return to mountain. So we'll revise those last few moves tonight as well. Okay. I'm going to put us back to gallery view, speaker view, and feet, structure, release. Simple practice. Feel the feet, draw the structure up, release any unnecessary holding. Really simple guidelines that can make a big difference to the way we hold ourselves. Feet, structure, release. Soften. Bending the knees. Take the loading to the right foot. Move across. The loading coming onto the left leg. Both legs. If you can, have the downward release and the movement coincide. So everything finishes when your hands and knees arrive together. Turn. Loading to the left leg. Turn. Loading 50-50. onto the right leg, turn, without disturbing where the weight is in the foot, step, 50-50, sinking. Moving to the left leg, without disturbing where the weight is in the foot, turn, and step. Sink. Small turn to 4 o'clock. Turn back. Draw the loading to the left leg. Turn open. 50-50 as you come in for the press. Facing 3 o'clock. Loading, draw back to the left leg. 50-50. Small push. Draw back to the left leg. Settle. Turn. Without disturbing where the weight is in the left foot. Pass the weight to the right foot without disturbing where the weight is in the right foot. Turn clockwise without disturbing where the weight is in the foot. Turn anti-clockwise. Loaded on the right leg, draw the left toes in. Without disturbing where the weight is, step out. 50-50 weight. Turn to 9 o'clock. Sink and load both legs. Move forward onto the left. Step out to 10:30 with the right heel. Sink in, 50-50 weight, shoulder stroke. Turn. Keep turning as you move onto the right foot. Make sure you're 100% in the right. Without disturbing where your weight is in the right foot, turn back. Drop the left, lift the right arm. Slide in the left toes. Sink the ball of the foot forwards. Drop the right, lift the left. Without disturbing the weight in the right foot, turn open. And turn back. Step left. 50-50. Square to 9 o'clock. Drop onto the right, the left foot. Lift the hands as you sit back to the right and sink onto the right foot facing 9 o'clock. Without disturbing your weight in your right foot, turn open and turn back and step left. Brush left knee, twister. Sit back to the right. Turn open the left toes. Move on to the left. The left foot is facing 8 o'clock. Body is facing 8 o'clock. Lift the arms to 8 o'clock. Turn to 9 o'clock. Turn to 10 o'clock. Place the right heel to 10 o'clock. Move on to the right foot, turning the hips. Keep the weight in the center of the right foot. Step left. Move in 50-50. Turn the hips to 9 o'clock. And punch, half punch, fold, palm up. Sit back, draw the right arm through the left wrist. Hands turn over and separate as you move into the push with the left foot forwards. Sit away from the fingertips, the weight now in the right foot, 100%. Turn, the right thumb on the center of the chest, the left toes come in. Move the weight to the left foot, opening up the right hand. Drop the arms, and as the arms cross to the height of the throat, step right. 50-50 weight. Drop onto the right foot. Turn to 10:30. Lift the left arm, turning to 1:30. Move the weight to the left foot, sitting away from the right hand. Still turning, bring the left hand into the ear. Draw in the right toes, step out to 4:30. Move into the 50-50. Posture of embrace tiger, return to mountain. Let's go from brush left knee twist step, the second one. Have a look first. I'll just go over some details in it, just to remind you of some of the details, then we'll do it again together. So I'll do it facing you so you can see. Left hand thumb on the thigh, same as our standing posture. Right hand, same as our push posture, exactly the same. There's no difference. Left foot forwards, brush left knee, twister. Leave the right hand exactly where it is. Sit back. So the arm straightens and becomes longer. The fingers stay exactly where they are. We're sitting away from the hand. And I'm still facing 9 o'clock. I turn my left toes, pivoting on the heel, to 8 o'clock. I'm going to move onto the front foot and turn towards 8 o'clock. As I do, I start to turn the body, drop the right hand, slide in the toes. Now I'm facing 8 o'clock with all my weight on the left. So I sit back, turn open the left, move in. This has got a turning move, and it's because my waist is turning as I move forward. I'm moving forward and dropping the arm at the same time. So I'm dropping the arm, exactly the same as dropping the arm at the beginning of the form, but I'm turning the waist. So it's got this quality, dropping, turning. Sit back, move in, lift. Lifting the knee and the hands, the left leg has to stabilize. Now I want the left leg to stabilize, not by tightening, although it probably will. Okay, don't worry if it tightens, but we're trying to control the muscles, trying to control our understanding of the balance of the body so it can load the thigh, press into the knee and the foot. The foot remains soft and pliable so it can adapt, not lock and hard. So it's not, anyway, the point is that you drop the tail, lift the knee and lift the hands. Exactly the same as the beginning of the form. Then as you turn, your hands are going to go this way. And then as you continue to turn, the hands are going to go this way. So they come up, they turn over, and they drop into position. They come up, they turn over. This is where you're facing 9 o'clock, and this is where you're facing 10 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Facing 8 o'clock, facing 9 o'clock, facing 10 o'clock. Have a look at how that fits in. Sit back, turn open, move in, facing 8 o'clock, facing 9 o'clock, facing 10 o'clock. Step left, move in, square, facing 9 o'clock again, and half punch. Parallel to the ground, one span from the body, fist vertical. Not on the center line, opposite the shoulder. Crook of the palm of the left hand over the crook of the arm. Fold. This is a strange move because with the thumb here, the palm cradles around the elbow at the same time as I turn and open the fist. The fist doesn't come across the body. Body turns a little bit and the arm moves with it. So the relationship of the arm to the body stays the same. Not locked, but it's not the arm moving, it's the body turning. Draw the arm through the wrist as you sit back. Hands separate and turn over as you come into the push. Left foot forwards. Fold. Draw back. Move in. Push. Drop the fingers. Leave them behind. Sit back. Turn. Right hand on the thumb on the center of the chest. Toes come in of the left. My weight is now in the right. Move to the left. The hands open up. Drop onto the left. Cross hands. Let's just do that a little bit together. And brush left knee twist step. I'm going to face the way we do it in the form. Sit back away from the right fingers. Weight in the right foot. Turn open the left, pivoting on the heel to 8 o'clock. Move on to the left foot, turning towards 8 o'clock, dropping the right hand, sliding the right toes in. So all my weight is on the left. I'm facing 8 o'clock. Lift the hands, lift the knee, the right knee. Turn to 9 o'clock. Hands turn over because the shoulders relax. Step with the right foot as you turn to 10 o'clock. Move on to the right foot, keep turning. Drawing the right hand palm up to the hip, the left hand facing 9 o'clock. Push position. Step left, move in, square to 9 o'clock, and half punch. Fold. Draw right back, the weight in the right foot, long in the arms, move forward, the hands turn over. Small push. Sit away from the hands, long in the arms, all the weight on the right foot, turn. Thumb on the center of the chest. Right hand's going to open out as you move to the left foot. And drop the arms long. Step up, 50-50, cross hands. Cross hands, my right hand is on the outside. Both palms towards me, the cross point here, where the wrist cross is at the height of the throat. Nice and big, it's not small. Span from the body here, it's not this one. Shoulders relaxed. Sunk, both legs. Have a go yourselves with that move, please. I'll have a little look, see if there's any questions, then we'll revise the last new move. Okay. Good. Any questions with those moves, please? Um, an idea with training is that the hands don't move by themselves. The body always leads, the center of gravity in the turning of the body or the sinking of the body always leads the arms. So the shoulders are floating on the torso. The movements come from the legs and the center of gravity, and that comes through to the shoulders and comes through to the arms. So the trouble with these new moves is that it ends up being very much put the hands in the right place. Okay. And I'm very much aware of that. And over time, what will happen is your arms will move more in harmony with your waist and your timing. While you're learning them, fine, but try and be accurate. Even though your arms are going to move independently, try and be as accurate as you can with the arm movements, because then they'll fit in. When you try to work with the more internal things, they'll fit in. So the quality we're looking for here is the hands lift, same as the form. This movement of the hands turning over really is like the shoulders dropping. Feel something rolling off the edge of the elbow. It's like you're trying to balance something on your elbow and it just falls off. And there's a rolling this way. And then it continues and drops into this one. So this hand cut, the right hand comes up, it turns over and it drops and forms a fist. If you can get that feeling without the body moving, where it starts off palm down, it turns sideways, and then it turns over. As it drops, it forms a fist. If you can get that feeling, then you try and put it into here. You come forward, you lift the arm, it turns over and falls into place. And you start to look at how different parts of the movement fit in with what the body is doing. But while your arm's kind of busy doing things, you can't feel how it fits in because it's so busy doing itself. So try and keep the movements accurate in front of the body, not out the body, in front of the body here, in front of the body here. Even though I'm turned to the side, they're still in front of the body. They're not opening myself out. So the movements are quite contained and quite small. Let's carry on to cross hand, embrace tiger, return to mountain. Cross hands. First movement is just like the first loosening exercise in that I'm finding my stability on the right. As I turn onto the right foot, I'm turning towards 11 o'clock, and I let my toes pivot on the heel. So my left foot comes off the ground. The heel stays in contact. As my hips turn, the toes, as my thigh rolls with the hips turning, my toes go as well. And my hands end up in the hip joints. One movement down, one movement into stability. So I start off 50-50 and I'm dropping fully onto my right foot. Then I'm going to lift my left arm. As I do, I turn the body. So by the time my body turns to face 1:30 or 1 o'clock, my left arm reaches the top. And my left arm is doing no more than that. My left arm is coming up exactly like the beginning of the form, but because I'm turning, it looks like I'm doing that with the arm. I'm not. The left arm is coming up. That's all it's doing. The left arm's coming up. And it looks like it's going across the screen, but it's not. It's my body turning that moves the arm. The arm's just doing that. Same movement as the beginning of the form. But then when I move my weight to the left foot, I'm still turning. And my left arm folds in 1 fist from the ear. I sit away from my right hand. Draw in my right toes and step out. So if you have a look at the whole move, drop onto the right foot 100%, turn to 11 o'clock. Turn and lift the left arm. Keep turning when you move onto the left foot, sit away from the right and draw the left into the ear. Slide the right toes in, keep turning, step out to 4:30, 4:30, move in, square and sink into the posture. Posture here is the right foot forwards, bow stance, the hands around a vertical ball this way. The right hand is parallel with the right thigh, the left hand sitting on top. So rather than this sort of ball that we've had before, now with the left hand underneath, now the left hand is on top and the right hand is underneath. But it's not a horizontal ball. It's more of a vertical pushing this way ball rather than this way. Right hand underneath in line with the thigh, the left hand on top. Good. Let's do that move again. From cross hands. Find the right foot. Slow turning. Finish the turn with the hands in the hips. Finish the release at the same time that you finish the turn. Lift, start the turn immediately. Hand arrives at the top at the same time that you finish the turn. Pass the weight to the left, continue turning. As the weight leaves the right foot, feel as the weight leaves the right foot, you can pick up the heel of the right and just let the right foot pivot on the ball of the foot. Keep turning the body. Now I'm facing about 2 o'clock. Draw the right toes in. Now I'm facing 3 o'clock. Step out to 4:30. Move in. Turn in the back toes. Sink, dropping the left shoulder. Posture. Embrace tiger. Return to mountain. Any questions with that move? Just a few minutes.
At the end of that move, Luke, where should you be facing? About 4:30 or 3 o'clock?
Yeah, 4:30, exactly 4:30. So your front foot, your right foot is to 4:30.
And you move towards that.
Hips, shoulders and gaze towards 4:30.
Towards 4:30. Thank you.
Question: the left foot, as you turn, the left foot turns as well before you move your weight to it.
Yeah, which part of the move, David?
You've come to here, and then you're lifting the hand, and
the left foot turns in.
Yeah, and then the next bit, when you move the left hand to the ear, it doesn't drop. I take it; it just comes straight into the ear, does it?
Yeah, it folds in.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Just folds in. Okay. Yeah. So one of the little tricks with this one is, if you have a look at my feet, when you turn and lift the left hand, try and bring your left toes in as far as they'll go. So you actually, although all your weight's in your right foot, you're feeling quite pigeon-toed here. Because you need your left foot to come round as far as it can to make the step easier. If your left foot doesn't come in far enough, say your left foot only comes in back to parallel, it makes it quite hard to take the next step. So try and turn your left foot in as far as it'll go. It'll make the move a little bit easier. Good. Okay, any other questions with that move? Yeah, okay, let's go from white cranes. Let's go from shoulder stroke so we can do that white crane. Let's go from shoulder stroke. Shoulder stroke starts facing 10:30 with the right foot forwards. 50-50 weight. Small push from the back foot to turn the hips. Small increase opening of the back knee to turn the hips. Then moving on to the right foot, still turning. Going to turn back to 9 o'clock, white crane spreads wings. Sinking. Brush left knee, twist step. Turn back, fold the arms, step left, brush left knee, twist step facing 9 o'clock. Drop onto the left, slide in the right toes, lift the heel. Play guitar, facing 9 o'clock. Brush left knee, twist step. Facing 9 o'clock. Sit back. Open the left to 8 o'clock. Move on to the left foot. Lift, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Step forward, deflect down, intercept, and finally punch. Fold, draw back, move in and push. Sit back, cross hands. Drop onto the right foot, turning. Facing around about 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Lift. Around about 1:30. Sit away from the right hand, fold in the left. Now I'm facing about 2 o'clock. Now I'm facing about 3. Finally stepping and ending up facing 4:30. So you'll notice occasionally I'll say face 11. Sometimes I say face 10:30. Do what feel. Try and be. Sometimes the body wants to go to. It's easier for the body to go to 11 o'clock than it is to go to 10:30. And turning to 10:30 puts a bit more strain in the body, in the muscles to hold that posture. So 11 o'clock is a little bit easier. So the reason sometimes I say don't turn, it's like if we do the loosening exercises, number 1, and I say here, turn to. The instruction is to turn to 10:30. But I know that people turning to 10:30 are going to get tension here. So I say turn to 11 o'clock. And the body's freer to move. Here the instructions turn to 1:30, but I say turn to 1 o'clock. Because then you can work with the body being loose and it doesn't get into a held tight position. Okay, so taking that little half an hour off, that little further turn keeps the body softer, which is what we want. Eventually, you can move to the correct position if you desire. But the main aim that I'm trying to teach us is to keep the body fluid, keep the body moving, keep the body changing, and not to get locked just because it wants to get to a set position. And that's why you might see some discrepancy in my timekeeping. Right. Have a really good week. Nice to see you, and we will resume again next week. Thanks a lot.